Appreciate the opportunity. When I heard about this and had the opportunity to make the trip from Cincinnati, Ohio, which is where I'm based, to speak to folks like yourself, and to know I've been chosen from the unbelievable pool of attorneys that U.S. LawShield has representing their membership across the country, I was ecstatic. I've had a fantastic time meeting folks like yourself, hanging out with Liberty Austin, one of the great representatives for U.S. LawShield, and Will Sampson, our representative who's manned the desk out there. It's been really a fantastic 2 days, and I couldn't be more happy to have been a part of it. When I first got the call for this, I was told I could have about 45 minutes to speak to you folks, so I prepared remarks for 45 minutes and then found out later it was more like 15, so I made some edits to a very lengthy recitation, so if it's a little disjointed, I apologize. But regardless, I'm here to talk about what I entitled Defending the Citizen Gun Owner, and which has really become an absolute consuming passion of mine. I've been practicing law for 25 years in the state of Ohio, and a good part of that in the state of Kentucky as well, and have had the opportunity to represent really some of the worst individuals our society has had to offer. And I've seen over a quarter of a century what people can do with firearms and when they utilize them the wrong way. And it's really kind of led me to where I am today, which is having the opportunity to represent the membership of U.S. LawShield in the state of Ohio. We call that the Buckeye State. It's a state where we still have Midwestern values and where we still, to a great degree, despite some efforts from Governor DeWine, preserve the rights that we so enjoy. And when I had the opportunity to represent U.S. LawShield, when they approached me in late 2015, when they were rolling out what was a very successful concept and program started in the state of Texas in 2009, I was ecstatic. I found that it was an opportunity for me to offset a lot of the negativity that I see and had seen in my private practice in representing well over 100 people in homicide cases and people facing the death penalty, and people had utilized firearms in every way you can imagine. I thought, you know what, this is going to be an opportunity for me to do my part to represent, again, the citizen gun owner. And I've never looked back. It's just been an absolute fantastic experience, and one I hope continues long into the future. Again, I'm here with like-minded individuals, people that have a passion for preserving freedom in the Second Amendment. And when I do speaking engagements, and I do many of them around the state of Ohio, I always tell people, when you leave here, if you take nothing else out of this, you will take out an appreciation that that person that just spoke to you loves the country and loves the Second Amendment. When I was in college, I was a history major at the University of Cincinnati, and I always thought I would be a professor of history. I had a fascination with the Civil War and was a dedicated constitutionalist, and thought, you know what, that's what I want to do. I want to preserve our history. I want to convey it to the next generation. I want us to learn from it, and I want to do everything I can to fulfill the ideas of our founding fathers in building what is the greatest country in the world. And then I found myself following other ideas and went to law school, and then found myself defending people who were being charged with criminal offenses and people being sued, and that has then led me to where I am today, which is spending every day, and that's 24 hours a day, 365 days a year, basically handling the membership responsibilities for all of the members in Ohio. We have upwards of, I think, maybe 35,000 members at this point in Ohio, and I remember when we had 0 and we were building the program. And it's just been an absolute wonderful experience to do what small thing I could do in the grand scheme of things to help people like yourselves who find themselves in situations where they've utilized their firearm to defend themselves or someone else, perfect strangers or family members, and then have been targeted by local law enforcement in the jurisdiction they're in, the prosecutor's office, and criminally charged and indicted. Many people who find themselves in that situation have never been in that situation before. Our members can pass background checks, unlike many that I encountered in my private practice. Our members can purchase firearms legally. We are a dedicated community. I don't consider U.S. LawShield, although some people look at it this way, like it's insurance, okay? I look at it as a community of like-minded individuals who believe in the Constitution and the Second Amendment, and so I consider U.S. LawShield and our members in Ohio a supported community. And when I say a supported community, I refer to their mission statement. U.S. LawShield's mission statement is this. I'm going to read directly from it. Our mission remains unchanged and is focused as it has always been, something we call preserving freedom for good. It involves educating our members in self-defense law, empowering them to handle critical life-threatening situations with confidence, and protecting them from potential injustices in the legal system after acts of self-defense. I couldn't surmise it any better or summarize it any better. And that's why U.S. LawShield has become so successful. That's why we dominate the arena. That's why we provide the experience and the support that is promised, unlike certain other programs that hold themselves out to do the same thing. You are the only member when you're on the phone with me, okay? We may have 35,000 members in the state of Ohio, but at that moment, when you require my services, my advice, you are the only member. You will get a direct communication from me. You will have as much time as you need, as much follow-up and support as you need to get through whatever issue that is. And you would not believe the things I deal with. They aren't simply self-defense related gun incidents, I can tell you that. So, U.S. LawShield, what is it? It was a new concept in the arena, which again started in 2009 and was born out of the experience of a man that was targeted in Texas who had done nothing but justifiably used his firearm and then was, I call it, persecuted, even though he was prosecuted. And some lawyers in Texas thought, you know what, we need to do something about this, and they developed and grew this program. And I've, again, am more than proud to have been a part of at least growing it in the state of Ohio. People that are experiencing certain issues that require my support, again, they've never been in that situation. They're now charged. They're now potentially indicted. I've represented members charged with everything from homicide. I currently have a member charged with a homicide in Hamilton County, Ohio, who was, in my eyes, completely justified in his use of his firearm. Somebody did die at that point, but the prosecutor's office, what did they do? They charged him. After little investigation, they indicted him, and they are prosecuting him for that. A person with absolutely zero history, a college graduate, it could be anybody in this room. So you go out and you think you're going to go to the grocery store. You think you're going to go pick up your daughter at school, and the next thing you know, you're confronted by a perfect stranger, and you're involved in an incident that is completely none of your making, and now you're in a position where you have to use your firearm. What are you going to do at that point? Well, you're going to hopefully have a backup, some sort of support system that can immediately respond to your situation, get you out of jail, provide advice before you make statements to the police, and handle everything you can at the outset. I get calls all the time from members who are literally involved in situations as they're occurring. I've talked to members on the phone who are being pulled over by the police and are calling me before they've stopped their vehicle. I've talked to members who have police at the door or have been involved in an altercation, have already called the police, and are now calling me for advice on what they need to do at that point. All 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. I have children that are 18 and 19 years old. Okay, I am going to make sure that I do whatever small part I can do, and I'm doing that through the conduit of representing the membership of U.S. LawShield in Ohio to preserve our rights to carry firearms, to preserve our rights to bear arms, protect ourselves and our family members and perfect strangers, and I do that through education. I go around the state of Ohio some 5, 6, 7 times a month, and I talk to groups as small as 5, and I talk to groups as big as 150 to 200 people. And all I do is spend 2 hours at a time educating them to the best of my ability in that short period of time. I try to give them the knowledge in these seminars and workshops so that they can go out and hopefully not find themselves in one of these situations. I wrote a book on behalf of U.S. LawShield called Armed and Educated, Ohio Gun Law, and that is available for our membership. And I think every attorney in every state has either completed their version of the book for their state or is currently working on it. We provide newsletters. We provide videos. Again, constant support. I get members that call me all the time that have questions about their custody issues, that have questions about putting together a will, that have questions about their grandmother who they're concerned about her finances and people taking advantage of them and what they can do. It's not just self-defense things. It's a complete support network for a community of individuals that essentially become members for, and I always tell them this, they become members for less for a year than I would charge them for 1 hour in my law office. And they have, again, constant contact with me for anything that they need whatsoever. I've become a social worker sometimes to talk people through crises in their daily life. I've become a psychologist, a psychiatrist, and an attorney all in one. I'm there for everything they need, and again, find myself very privileged to do so. Again, referring to my children, I'm trying to build a better world for them. I'm trying to make sure that they get to experience the freedoms and benefits of this country that I did. My father was 82 years old and recently passed away a couple of years ago, and I find myself reflecting on him. He was an Army veteran. He was a great patriot, a business owner, grew a business, small business into a very successful company. And I find myself thinking about him often and thinking, although I miss him greatly and he was a voracious reader and one of the smartest people I had ever met, I think to myself, I am so happy that he got to live his whole life and not see what is taking place in this country. I mean, I'm sorry to get passionate about it, but he truly would be beside himself if he could see what is going on in this country. And so I'm happy that he got to live his life and not have to see that. Again, I'm sorry for getting emotional about that, but when I think about it, it's just what's going on is crazy. Okay, so in my short time I have left, again, I'm here to represent this great organization for U.S. LawShield. I want everyone out here to take advantage of the opportunity. If you're going to purchase what is very expensive ammunition at this point, if you're going to practice, if you're going to get yourself in a position to defend yourself, then you need to take the last step, which is defend yourself with the program that will support you. Hopefully you'll never need the attorney representation portion of it, but the benefits extend so far beyond that. That's why I don't focus on them. That's what everybody thinks about. Hopefully you would never utilize that in your daily life, but all the other benefits are so fantastic. The cost is absolutely negligible compared to what else you're spending. When you buy your case, I just bought a case for an AR pistol that I purchased. I bought a magnifier. I bought a green dot sight for it. I put a suppressor on it. I've got this. I've got $5,000 in this firearm. And to me, when I think U.S. LawShield for $130 a year. It's so negligible because if you ever have to utilize that firearm, you're going to want some backup, some support. Now, I'm going to run over for just a minute or two because, again, I had 45 minutes planned. I want to give you a couple of member stories if that's okay. I promise I won't take more than a minute or two. I had so many member stories, I could spend 2 hours just telling you member stories and great successes where the program has come to the rescue of certain individuals, and I feel I can't neglect some of these stories before I walk off this stage. I represented a young man from Wittenberg University a couple of years ago who got into an altercation with his roommate, and he utilized his firearm in a very vicious fight. His roommate had a hammer, and he was indicted. He was indicted with a felonious assault. He was charged with gun specs added, and he was looking at a minimum of 11 years in the Ohio State Penitentiary. And they wanted to send this college student who played football and who had no record and who was going to be a great success, and they wanted to send him to prison. And they came to me with a basket of flowers and a 5-year plea bargain for that young man, as if they were doing him and me a favor. Well, we took that all the way to the end, and that young man was not convicted of that offense, and that young man did not spend 1 day in jail. That young man still calls me. He still calls me to this day to tell me what's going on in his life, the job he has, the success he's having in life, and to thank me. And those are the things that really, they keep me coming back. We took a picture outside the courthouse. It was, if I never had another experience like that, at least I would have made a difference in that young man's life. But that's not the only person. I've represented veterans who were defending the American flag and were prosecuted for aggravated menacing and looking at jail. I've represented, excuse me, that is a hotline call. Can I take 5 seconds here? I'm so sorry. Hi, Wilkes Ellworth, attorney with U.S. LawShield. Can I help you? Okay. I'm so sorry. Yes, sir. What's going on? Okay. Yes, sir. Okay. Can I give you a call back in like 2 minutes? Would that be okay? I'm going to call you at this number in like 2 minutes, okay? Okay. Thank you. I'll never convince you that that was not planned. I promise you it was not. Okay? That thankfully, his membership was about to expire. He wants to update his payment. That's the same person. He wants to update his payment information. And I get those calls at 3 in the morning sometimes where people are like, yeah, I just got off work. I work the night shift. I need to update my credit card information. So anyways, that is how that works. I promise you that was not on purpose. That happens quite a bit during seminars I give, and I can never convince people that it was not set up. But anyways, to conclude, that was one member story. There's many other just like that. I've run over time. I want to encourage everybody. Please understand how passionate I am about this. I've seen it happen over and over and over again. People don't think it's going to happen to them. People go out to live their daily lives. They go to buy groceries or are driving down the street, and the next thing they know, they are in a situation. Police are involved. They're answering questions. They're being put in handcuffs and put in the back of the car, and then they don't know what to do. Tell your friends, tell your family members, become a part of the supported community of U.S. LawShield. I tell you, it will be a fantastic experience and one that you will enjoy. Thank you. Thank you very much.